89 500cc World Championship. We're back live at Hockenheim to join Barry Nutley.
The blue ribband class of world motorcycle racing, the 500 cc's, gather on the line, and this promises to be one battle. Wayne Rainey, the victor, one victor of the five, because we've had 5 Grand Prix, we've had 5 different winners, and that is really something amazing. Now, is someone going to repeat that today and get a double? Kevin Schwantz has gone fastest round here in qualifying. Kevin Schwantz on pole position, but Wayne Rainey is the man of the moment. He's very much in form. He has an extremely fast Yamaha, and he was second in qualifying, and it could well be that he has an ace or two up his sleeve. Lawson, of course, now was Yamaha last year on Honda. World champion Eddie Lawson is third fastest. c.sarron, the Frenchman, is fourth. p.f.chili, the Italian, is fifth. But Kevin Schwantz, the man on pole, the lean Texan who adopts something like a praying mantis style, and you'll see what I mean when they get underway. He climbs all over the machine. He rides it with careless abandon, and he has been very, very fast round here. He won the first Grand Prix, he won in Japan, he led 2 others but fell off, and one of those incidents was only 6 laps from the end of the race, and there could be no sadder man than Kevin Schwantz when that happened. But he is capable of winning here today. He's on pole, he's gone round here faster than anyone. Kevin Schwantz is backed up, of course, in the Suzuki team by Ron Haslam, the Englishman. Ron also on the second row. So there you have it. Kevin Schwantz on pole, Wayne Rainey next to him, Eddie Lawson in the middle of the pack, c.sarron, the likeable Frenchman, fourth place. p.f.chili completes the front row. Mike Doohan, number 27, the 20-year-old Australian bombshell who's riding here behind, younger brother of c.sarron, Randy Mamela, probably the most popular rider out here, number 12, on the Cajiva, which sadly is 15 miles an hour down on top speed at the fastest part of the circuit. So Randy Mamela will have to spend his time entertaining the crowd with the enormous wheelies for which he's so famous, and he has pulled a wheelie along the start-finish straight here at Hockenheim during practice and put the front end down just before throwing it into the right-hander at the end at 120 miles. Here as a spectator, but he has won. Wayne Rainey won the American Grand Prix in California at Laguna Seca, much to the delight of the home crowd. Eddie Lawson brought home the goods at Jerez in Spain, and p.f.chili won the Italian Grand Prix 2 weeks ago at Mazzano, which was sadly troubled by a rider's strike. Chili could not resist the temptation, and I can't blame him for riding in his home Grand Prix, and he indeed took the win, albeit without the top riders present. So Chili has had a win, and he has everything to prove today, and he's proved it already by qualifying on the front row. In that stricken Italian Grand Prix was Simon Buckmaster for Great Britain, who took second place, a very creditable performance for him. One of the few privateers, a true privateer on the Grand Prix scene. And a German, m.rudroff, who is also competing today, took third place in Italy. So it gave the lesser lights, if you like, the opportunity to pick up some much-needed money and some much-needed world points. So off on the warm-up lap around the 4.21 Hockenheim circuit. 1/3 of it is in the speed bowl, or shall I say the stadium area. The rest of it is out in the most spectacular wooded countryside. Very, very fast indeed. Up away from the start-finish area, the fastest part of the course, 170 miles an hour, is where the map is demonstrating to you now. That very fast sweeping right-hander approaching the Brahms curve. The Brahms curve being a not too tight chicane which enables the drivers to go through, the riders should I say, to go through at something over 80 miles an hour in second, possibly even third. Number 12 there, Randy Mamela, looking composed on the Cajiva. They accelerate away from the Brahms curve to the furthest part of the course from where we are sitting, the Ost curve, which is down into third gear, and it tightens up. They go in at about 130, and it tightens up, so they need to have a second bite at it before they exit back up through the gearbox, accelerating up into 5th gear, coming down towards Brams Curve 2, which is another equally large chicane, consisting of a left, a right, and a left flick out of it. Number 36 there, Simon Buckmaster, on his very distinctive pale blue Honda. Truly the creme de la creme, the ace men of the world. Number 19, Freddie Spencer, the much maligned Freddie Spencer, who came back into the Yamaha team in 1989 after missing the complete 88 season through a wrist injury. Back in the stadium area, the massed crowds waiting with anticipation what promises to be a stunning race. The all-blue Yamaha of c.sarron. Sarron performing well, 4th in practice, has had quite a few pole positions in his time, c.sarron, and at 34 years of age has to be one of the more experienced and wily competitors. Is it going to be his race? 34, Kevin Schwantz on the Suzuki. Alongside him, Rainey. There's Eddie Lawson, number 1 world champion from last year. There's c.sarron in the blue. Chili in yellow has it all to prove. He needs to win back the respect and esteem of his fellow riders for doing his thing in Italy when he felt it was the proper thing to do, and the rest of them sat on the sidelines. The problem there was because it rained, the track is notoriously slippy, it was slippy in the dry, and the riders simply said, wet tyres or not, it is too dangerous. And who can blame them as the light goes off and we have a start. Ron Haslam, number 8, weaving all over the track, but teammate Kevin Schwantz takes the edge as they go into the first turn, and they streak away out of Tax Curve up through the gearbox. The heat haze at Hockenheim, joggling for positions, but in the lead, Kevin Schwantz, fastest man in practice. Wayne Rainey alongside him, up towards Brams Curve for the first time. 19 laps to do, 80 miles, the 500cc West German Grand Prix is on. Chili down there in 5th, but it's Schwantz leading the race. The rest of the riders sorting themselves out. Wayne Rainey, number 3. Kevin Schwantz, number 34. Rainey on Yamaha. The heat here today playing havoc with the braking equipment, except that Lockheed braking equipment, carbon discs are being used on the machines of Rainey, Schwantz, Haslam, Lawson, and carbon fiber discs work better as they get hotter, so much so that they're shrouded, and you can see on the front wheel of Lawson's machine a black shroud keeping the discs warm, and it works very, very well indeed. Number 6 there coming through, Neil Mckenzie, a dreadful start for him, so Mckenzie's got it all to do. The rest of the pack sorting themselves out. Lawson leads. Wayne Rainey. Number 27, Mike Doohan, 20 years of age, Mike Doohan. Riding, don't forget, with an injured left hand, hanging on to 150 brake horsepower of V4 water-cooled Honda. Eddie Lawson from Rainey, Doohan. Schwantz is in 4th, but Mike Doohan going brilliantly. Buckmaster, Mckenzie, Rudroff. Nothing between any of them. The race very even, the track very even. It's all about top speed. If you've got a quick motor, you're in with a chance. Lawson leading the race at the moment. Past the commentary point at the end of lap 1. Mckenzie and Buckmaster. Mckenzie wouldn't want to be down there with Simon Buckmaster. He really has to do something about that. He's got the machinery, as does Eddie Lawson on the NSR 500 water-cooled Honda. Eddie Lawson, the master, 31 years of age. 3 times world champion in 84, 86, and last year 1988. Going for 4 if possible and doing all he can. 20 points for a win. 5 rounds have gone so far. This is the 6th. Lawson lying second in the table behind series leader Wayne Rainey, trailing him by 10 points, so 20 will come in very handy here, but there is a long, long way to go and a lot of hard, aggressive and very tiring motorcycling. But here they come. Lawson number 1. In second place, it's his arch rival Wayne Rainey, who scooped the British Grand Prix at Donington Park in 1988. Rainey. Schwantz 34 in third. Doohan now down to fourth. So Kevin Schwantz beginning to wind the wick up. Number 19, Freddie Spencer came through there. Number 10, Rob McElnay, who's been drafted in to the team in place of the injured Bubba Schobert, who fell heavily in California and is recovering. So McElnay's taken over his Honda ride, riding number 10. Eddie Lawson now, some 4 lengths clear of Wayne Rainey, the Californian. Lawson's move to Honda was a big shock for the Yamaha camp. No one expected it. And they pulled off something of a coup by getting Freddie Spencer back out of retirement. But it's no compensation for the flying Lawson. They've lost him to Honda. He's really turning the wick up now. Eddie Lawson, Wayne Rainey, Kevin Schwantz in third place. Honda lead, Yamaha second, Suzuki third. They are circulating at 6 seconds inside the existing lap record, which was held by Wayne Gardner. 2 minutes, 5.5 seconds, 120.9 miles an hour. From 2 years ago, they have axed it by 6 seconds. The superior speed of the machine, the superb tire technology, the superior braking equipment, all add up to getting around Hockenheim quicker, and Lawson is doing exactly that. There's Buckmaster. There is Rob McElnay, number 10, ahead of Neil Mackenzie. Now, Mackenzie is slowing. Doesn't look happy at all, Neil Mackenzie, well off the pace, and it looks as though he's cruising. Mackenzie's race appears to be run as the battle goes on at the head. Up to fourth goes c.sarron. Lawson still leading. Wayne Rainey there in second. Schwantz. And Doohan has sneaked past again. There's Mike Doohan, number 27. So Doohan up to fourth. c.sarron down to fifth. Pier Francesco Chili is in sixth. A good performance. He's showing that the Italian win was by no means a fluke. He can hold his own in fast company. And he will need to be very fast to do anything about these two. They're beginning to stretch away now. Eddie Lawson, Wayne Rainey, 4 or 5 machine lengths behind. Both with the same braking equipment, but they're on different power units, different chassis. 1 Grand Prix win this year so far for Eddie Lawson at Jerez. He would dearly like to make it 2 here at Hockenheim. Kevin Schwantz is poised in third place. Eddie Lawson, Wayne Rainey, number 3, Kevin Schwantz, number 34. Kevin Schwantz there all the way from Texas. When he's not racing, he's at home on a cattle ranch in Texas. 6'2", finds it very difficult to tuck his long legs into the fairings. That's exactly what he has to do. Lawson now coming under a bit of pressure from Rainey. Rainey coached by former world champion Kenny Roberts. He's here looking after the team. The other team member, Kevin Mcgee, is riding today, having qualified quite well up. In fact, qualified in 10th place, having a comeback from a broken ankle, which was also sustained at Laguna Seca. So Mcgee, a little bit off the pace, but nevertheless going well. The battle's still at the front, Lawson leading. Schwantz still there in third. Wayne Rainey tucked in the slipstream. His riding ability belies his years, Wayne Rainey. First came to Britain in the Transatlantic Series, made his name, was extremely consistent through the 1988 Grand Prix season and finished in the top 6 of every Grand Prix until the last one at Brazil, when he broke down and did not finish. He is nicknamed Mr. Consistency, and consistency pays off in the world title chase, but now he is pressurizing world champion Eddie Lawson. His career came good last year when he scooped the British Grand Prix. Kevin Schwantz has just gone round at 2 minutes 02. That is in excess of 120 miles an hour. Because Kevin Schwantz and Chili on the grass. Chili on the grass, but still holding it. They come very wide out of there, using all the track and more. Mike Doohan hanging on to that Honda, but up the inside and past goes c.sarron. So c.sarron now has gone into 4th place in front of Mike Doohan. The 1st and 2nd place man stretching away. Eddie Lawson from Wayne Rainey. Kevin Schwantz is sitting there. So Honda lead Yamaha from Suzuki. This is very much a battle of men. It is very much a battle of machinery. A lot at stake for the factories. They plough an enormous investment into Grand Prix racing on the basis that it helps their research and development for the road machines, and it also sells motorbikes and promotes the name. Honda, of course, well known now for their power units in the world of Formula One cars, so they've diversified to some extent, but they have by no means neglected the two-wheel world, as you can see very clearly here, with Lawson leading the race, sitting up, down the gearbox, down 3 gears there, front brake hard on, chucks it into the left-hander, and out again. Wayne Rainey clinging to him like a limpet, not letting Lawson get away, because Rainey knows the moment Lawson stretches that gap, it will be very difficult to close. Schwantz is also sitting there, riding with almost careless abandon, throwing the Suzuki around under him. Let's hope that Kevin Schwantz has learned his lesson and rides the race to the finish without throwing away valuable points. 20 for the win, 17 for 2nd, 15 for 3rd, and 15 will do his championship chances no harm at all, because Kevin Schwantz currently sitting in 5th place on 37, so he needs the points. Wayne Rainey definitely needs the points, because he currently leads Lawson by 10, and if things stay as they are, and we are only 4 laps into the race with 15 to do, then Lawson will only marginally close that gap by 3 points. But there is a long way to go at very high racing speeds. Number 50, one of the local German riders, getting featured regularly by the German producer, and why not, as the battle at the front is getting hotter. Schwantz has closed, he's up with them, and Rainey is making a move. Wayne Rainey alongside, or almost alongside, Eddie Lawson, but only 1 machine length, a split second between them. That is the gap. Lawson ahead of the number 50 Gschwender in 14th place. So what they're telling us is there's only 1.7 seconds separating 1st and 14th. That's how close it is. And even closer at the front of the pack, with Lawson's Honda weaving underneath him as he brakes hard for the Brams curve. The pressure well and truly on Eddie Lawson, the unflappable Eddie Lawson. He is a scientific rider. He plots his races. He's a deep thinker, calculates exactly how little he has to do. Knees scraping the tarmac. Coming up among the tail enders already, number 44 there in front of Lawson. They'll be coming round to lap, so he obviously had a bad start, and that's Alwas Meyer, another West German, about to be lapped by the flying trio of Lawson, Rainey and Schwantz, almost in tow as they come past the grandstand. Lawson closing now on Rainey, looking at the inside line. I beg your pardon, Schwantz closing on Rainey, looking at the inside line. Lawson leading the pack. Kevin Schwantz being a little cautious. He's held back, but he's now making his presence felt. Nothing between them. The 500s differ so much from the 250s in the enormous power they deliver. The top 6, Lawson, Rainey, Schwantz, c.sarron for Mike Doohan, still in 5th, and Chili in 6th. A good ride for him so far. I was saying the power delivered by the 500s means that they are literally an on-off switch. They can go into the turns a bit deeper, wind the power on, and accelerate at phenomenal rate out of the turns. A good ride by c.sarron in 4th. c.sarron had to adapt his riding technique. One of the old school who rode traditional type of racing. He had to learn how to drift the back end, because that's what these men do. They have so much power on tap with the right wrist that they literally drift the back end of the machine and steer it under power, rather like a speedway rider does or a rally car driver does, but not to the same degree. And that takes an awful lot of courage and a great deal of skill, because they are on a knife edge, albeit with a wide section tyre. There's a very small contact patch of rubber holding them to the track. A gripping race. Lawson. Rainey still with him. On lap 7, Schwantz just sitting there waiting for his moment, just wondering maybe if the race between these two will hand him something on a plate. Lawson is too canny for that, I think. The gap lengthening between 3rd and 4th place. The enormous gangly knee of Kevin Schwantz goes out as c.sarron leads Mike Doohan and Chili 4th. 5th, number 27, Mike Doohan from Australia, 20 years of age. His first year in Grand Prix action. He's Wayne Gardner's apprentice, if I could put it that way, because Wayne is keeping a watchful eye on this young man in his first full year of European competition and world competition at Grand Prix level. Lawson, Rainey now even closer. Nothing between them. They're dropping Kevin Schwantz away. So Kevin Schwantz in 3rd. Lawson holding the tight line. Rainey going almost round the outside. What's the picture going to be when they emerge from this one? And they are side by side, coming out of the Orst curve down towards Brams curve. Lawson and Rainey side by side. Does the Yamaha have the edge? No, it doesn't. Lawson goes in deeper on the brake. It was all about braking, and Eddie Lawson throws out Wayne Rainey at that point, but he now knows the speed capability of the Yamaha, and it is extremely quick. They have the same braking equipment, those carbon fiber discs, made in Britain by Lockheed, fitted to all the leading machines in this race, and the hotter they get, the better they work, and that's what Lawson likes. Enormously powerful Hondas, enormously powerful Yamaha, and Kevin Schwantz, no slouch on the Suzuki, but he's in 3rd. Rainey still pushing for 2nd, but Schwantz is closed again. These three now having a battle royal on the 8th lap, coming past the grandstand. Almost the length of the straight separates this leading trio from the 4th place man, c.sarron. There is no one else in it at this moment in time. It's all about these three, and I think it's going to go right down to the wire. It's in this sort of fashion. Kevin Schwantz put in the quicker lap that time of these three. That's why he's closed so dramatically. It would be nice for the Suzuki to come home ahead after having eaten their dust and swallowed their exhaust fumes for 8 laps. Can he get the Suzuki past? That's what we're going to find out. Schwantz certainly thinks he can. Number 24 there, Bruno Knubberler, one of the local Germans. The gap again, he's in 19th place. Nothing in it. Knubberler, not really in the hunt, but getting featured because he's doing well in his own Grand Prix. Rainey has now taken the lead from Lawson, but Lawson will come back. Rest assured, Eddie Lawson is not done for yet by any means. Wayne Rainey, Lawson, and Schwantz right with him. So Kevin Schwantz from Texas has got his Suzuki tucked well and truly into Eddie Lawson's exhaust pipe as Wayne Rainey sits up brakes very hard and goes down 2 gears. And comes in to the stadium area to the cheers of the crowd. Rainey heeled over hard, knee on the tarmac. This magnificent setting at Hockenheim. Wayne Rainey now pulling out the lead. All the way from California, winner of the Donington British Grand Prix. And for him, that was such an emotional moment. He openly wept with the reception that the 70,000 British crowd at Donington gave him, and has said that he's looking forward to coming back as the back end steps out there under power. And if you were quick, you'll have noticed just how far it moved, and Lawson was quick to notice it and took advantage and closed the gap, and he's now right with Wayne Rainey again. Rainey had to back off the power just a little bit, and Lawson closed. Ernst Schwender from West Germany on the Suzuki, fighting his way round behind number 12, Randy Mamola. 12 on Mamola's bike, 12th in the race for him. But the Cagiva, the Italian-built Cagiva, made by the Castiglione brothers, who only last week presented Randy Mamola with a new Ferrari Testarossa, which I'm quite sure will keep him happy and keep him on the Cagiva for the rest of the season. But it is down on power by something like 15 miles an hour on top speed. And Hockenheim is where you need the top speed. Kevin Schwantz has turned his wick up into second place. Lawson now down into third. So Rainey leads Schwantz. Lawson's in third, and there is nobody else in the hunt at this stage. The machine's bobbing and weaving as they throw them very, very quickly. And these are big bikes, they're heavy bikes. The gyroscopic effect alone of the wheels makes it very difficult to throw it from one side to the other. There's a lot of resistance there. And those very, very light carbon discs help that gyroscopic effect. They minimize the weight as they throw it from left to right and back again. A twitch from Schwantz Suzuki. Lawson, the ever-watchful Eddie Lawson, just sitting there almost halfway through the race now. And Steady Eddie, as he's known, will be getting the signals from his pit with regard to what he feels he has to do and what he knows he must do. He's coming out of Schwantz slipstream to brake hard. And Doohan has stolen that 4th place from c.sarron, but Chili is still there. So an equally tightly fought battle going on for 4th, 5th and 6th place, as a very worried-looking back marker finds himself caught up in the furious action at the front of the pack. Lawson now back into second, Schwantz down into third. So Wayne Rainey still the leader. Eddie Lawson, world champion, in second. Kevin Schwantz for Suzuki in third. A truly exciting race. The top 6 appearing on the board. Mike Doohan up to 4th. Sarron, as I say, in 5th place. Chili in 6th. Coming out of the Orst curve, down towards the chicane. This is where Rainey is very, very good on the brakes. But Lawson has pipped him to it. Lawson there has taken the lead from Wayne Rainey. So Eddie Lawson back in control, in the driving seat, albeit by a very slim margin. In fact, an incredibly slim margin, which changes by the second. Schwantz having a serious go, but he's on the tight line. Lawson's on the racing line. If Schwantz had tried to outbrake Rainey at that point, he would have scooped him up, but he's alongside now and still can't get through because Wayne Rainey closes the door. Wayne Rainey still in second, Eddie Lawson leading. The bottom-end power of the Yamaha, and when I mean bottom-end power, I mean the torque of the engine, has the edge slightly over the Honda. The Honda is slightly more revvy. It means that they have to stay up in the top end of the rev range, keep it on the bugle, keep it buzzing in order to get the maximum from it. But the Yamaha does come out of the turns a little bit quicker, and that's where Wayne Rainey closes on Eddie Lawson, coming out of the turns and accelerating away from the word go. That's where the Yamaha has the grunt. And they are now in the thick of the back markers, and this is extremely delicate. On the fastest part of the course, lapping at 170 miles an hour, has got to be fairly exciting stuff. Eddie Lawson from Rainey. Kevin Schwantz was delayed by the traffic. In fact, delayed quite a lot by the traffic, so he's going to have to do something to remedy that. So these two having a battle royal. Lawson from Rainey. Number 14, Michael Rudroff there, who finished third at the Italian Grand Prix at Mazzano 2 weeks ago, is no way in the running. In fact, he's about to be lapped by the trio at the head of the pack. Eddie Lawson, number 1 on the Honda. Wayne Rainey on the Yamaha, number 3. Lawson has been racing motorbikes for 23 years. He's now 31. So you can do your own maths to see when he started. Just a young boy when he first put his leg over an off-road motorcycle, and very quickly progressed to road racing and has developed his craft and his technique over a number of years, and is one of the most consistent and one of the most logical, sensible road racers on the world scene, and that is why number 1 is on his plate. Kevin Schwantz working hard but not making any ground on the two ahead of him, and he knows now, with 7 laps to go, that he has to do something fairly dramatic if he's going to do anything about leading the race by enough margin, enough cushion to get away from the pack. Now, 14, Michael Rudroff from Germany, about to be lapped, and how will he react to this after having stood on the rostrum in Italy just 2 weeks ago and collected a bottle of champagne and a garland for his trouble? He must have, in his heart of hearts, realized that if the top company had been there, then no way. Randy Mamola picking up the front in an enormous wheelie, and it's sad in a way to see someone of Mamola's ability reduced to entertaining, because really that's what he's doing now, entertaining the crowd on what is an ill-handling and uncompetitive Cagiva. In 14th place, he's on for some points. He's even waving to the crowd, but he knows that any chance he has of improving on that is negated by the lack of power that Cagiva has. A great pity, because the factory has put in a tremendous amount of money and effort over the winter months, hoping to get it right. They have a fuel injection system, they had an engine management system, none of which seems to be able to do anything for the Cagiva. They simply cannot come to terms with the Japanese technology that is forcing these 3 men on in such magnificent style. Lawson in the lead. Number 3, Wayne Rainey still in second, into the stadium section again. The crowd here truly appreciative of the spectacular motorcycling that they're getting from the very best in the world. Eddie Lawson past the commentary point at the end of lap 12. Rudroff still, yes, has not been caught, but it's only a matter of time before they wind him in. Rapidly going past the back markers now. There is Doohan, number 4 in the race, number 27 on his bike. Right with him is c.sarron, number 4, in 5th place. And p.f.chili still in 6th, number 9. Here's Lawson lapping again. A tense moment for him. He knows what he has to do, and he can't give up the opportunity, because there you see Wayne Rainey almost stole through and took advantage of the back marker situation. A lot of traffic. This will sort them out. Randy Mamola and a faller being assisted from the circuit. Has a problem with his leg, sitting him down just to have a look. So The track not maybe as grippy as we thought it was. One or two people still managed to throw it away. Rainey now leads Lawson. Wayne Rainey, number 3, back in the lead of the race. And Schwantz back with them again. So Kevin Schwantz has by no means given up the chase. Chopping and changing up the front. Lawson on the inside line. And he's outbraked Wayne Rainey, and he's through. Rainey down into second again. So Lawson steals the lead again into the grandstand section. From Wayne Rainey, there's a back marker just ahead of them. Which side of him is Lawson going to go? Through the left and the right, and out of the sharp right-hander, the opal curve onto the start-finish straight. And the watch is running on Lawson now as he crosses the line. The lap record before the race was standing at 2 minutes 5.5. They are already well within that. Schwantz has set in some blistering times and absolutely shattered the record. 5 laps to go. A total of 19, 80 miles the distance. 4.21 miles each lap, so a little over 20 miles remaining in this race. And Kevin Schwantz still close enough to do some damage. The gap between Schwantz and the 4th place man is enormous, and I can only say enormous because it's the length of the start-finish straight. And that 4th place man is number 27, Mike Doohan from Australia. And a good ride for him, bearing in mind he fell heavily and is riding with an injured hand, broken bones in the left hand. But Eddie Lawson still in front. Rainey. Simultaneously, they sit up into the airflow. Out goes the knee, down the gearbox, on go the brakes. The body in the air also puts on an air brake and helps them slow. An enormous cheer from the crowd as past the commentary point goes Randy Mamela with another spectacular wheelie, having his own sort of fun with his own sort of race, but the serious stuff is at the front, and nobody is more serious than Kevin Schwantz, number 34 from Texas, desperate to get another win under his belt, to consolidate that victory in Japan, and to do something about his relatively lowly position, 5th in the world title chase. He is capable of winning the world title, this man. He knows it. His adversaries know it, and nobody knows it better than Eddie Lawson, number 1. Leader at the moment. Schwantz, 34 in 10. Ron Haslam riding the 2nd Suzuki is not featuring on the leaderboard, so Schwantz looking back, and Schwantz has got trouble. Kevin Schwantz pulling off the circuit. 34, Schwantz is out, so his German Grand Prix is over. That's a tragedy for Kevin Schwantz. That moves everybody up a place, but he's coasting. Kevin Schwantz is out. So drama with 4 laps to go. In fact, with 3 laps to go when they finish this one. Any hope that Kevin Schwantz had of winning the 1989 West German Grand Prix at Hockenheim have gone, as a very dejected Kevin Schwantz pushes the Suzuki off the circuit. So the battle at the front now is a titanic struggle between number 1, Eddie Lawson, and number 3, Wayne Rainey. And it will go all the way to the checkered flag, because there is nothing between them. Cat and mouse tactics, I think, are what will win the day, as Simon Buckmaster, number 36, 2nd in Italy, is about to be lapped by Eddie Lawson as they come into the stadium area. Buckmaster staying tight. Lawson goes round the wide line. Eddie Lawson, 1 Grand Prix so far in Spain at Jerez. Is it going to be 2 for Eddie Lawson, or is it going to be 2 for Wayne Rainey? we shall see in a very, very short time. Scything through the field. This track is all about superior performance. It's all about superb braking. And the technology in these multi-thousand-pound motorcycles, special factory models, handcrafted at enormous expense. Third place now taken by Mike Doohan. c.sarron is fourth, but they are having a battle of their own because there is nothing they can do at this stage in the proceedings about the dynamic duo at the head of the pack. Two riders from America showing us how to do it in Europe. World champion Eddie Lawson. World champion designate one day for sure Wayne Rainey, because he is extremely scientific, extremely consistent, and is a real threat to Eddie Lawson at this stage in the proceedings, in the title chase and in the race, because Rainey leads the title chase. If he stays where he is, he'll get 17 points. That will move him on to 88. If Lawson stays where he is, he will get 20 points and move on to 81. That's how close it is, with 9 rounds remaining. After today, they go to Austria, and immediately following that, they go to Rijeka in Yugoslavia. So we have 3 Grand Prix consecutive weeks for these men, and there's nothing they like better. Eddie Lawson, at the end of this one, he will have 2 laps. And the battle for third and fourth still going on, and I can see from where I'm sitting that Mike Doohan is staving off a very determined challenge from c.sarron, just as Eddie Lawson is staving off a very determined challenge from Wayne Rainey. But does Rainey have anything left? Can he use the superior bottom-end power of the Yamaha out of the last turn, the Opal curve, in the what is, I suppose, a 400-meter dash to the checkered flag, because that's where it will all be at the end of the day. An enormous gap now between the first and second man and the third and fourth. Rainey wobbling now in Lawson's wheel track, knowing that it's now or never. Wayne Rainey on the outside line, coming out round the Ost curve, swinging wide, but it's still Lawson. This one is going to go all the way to the flag. Lawson's still in the driving seat. Eddie Lawson, world champion number 1. Current title leader, Wayne Rainey, number 3. And it does appear that 1989 is going to be a year to remember for these two. This is not the first time they've chased each other all the way around in Grand Prix in 89. Lawson being scientific, knowing full well what he has to do. And if I know Eddie Lawson, he will have something left. The man never rides on the limit unless he is really under pressure. He will save something for that final sprint, but just how much he's saved and just how much Wayne Rainey has saved, we will see very shortly. Kevin Schwantz, having led, having been second, having pressed hard in third for so long, retired his Suzuki with a mechanical problem with 5 laps to go. So Suzuki now out of the reckoning. It's going to be a Honda or a Yamaha whose pilot takes the rostrum. Rainey picking the front wheel up there, a little squirt of excess power. Number 19, Freddie Spencer on the Yamaha, still fighting his way through the field. Now Spencer in 8th place, a good ride for Freddie Spencer. The only man ever to win a 250cc and a 500cc World Championship in the same year. Fast Freddie, as he's known, but not fast enough today, because Eddie Lawson lapping now, coming onto the straight with 1 lap to go. Eddie Lawson, Wayne Rainey tucked in his slipstream. They really are so close. The back markers don't know what's hit them. These two now streets ahead of the third and fourth place battle between Mike Doohan and Christian Sound. But Rainey, it's Rainey. No, it's Lawson. That was a deceptive angle because it looked almost as though Rainey was going to do Lawson on the brakes. But Lawson was on the inside. He had the right line. Lawson still leads marginally, and it's a gnat's whisker or a cat's whisker, I'm not sure, but it is so close. Rainey now tucking down behind the fairings, and he's on the inside line, and Wayne Rainey slips through. It really is as they come into the stadium area. Wayne Rainey has got a length over Eddie Lawson. Wayne Rainey leads. The crowd on its feet, they are absolutely silenced by this epic battle between the two. The checkered flag is being readied. The checkered flag being readied for Wayne Rainey, or is it Eddie Lawson? Which of them is it to be? Wayne Rainey takes it by 2 lengths from world champion Eddie Lawson. A magnificent victory for Rainey. He earned it. He stalked him all the way through. Schwantz was in there, but it really was a battle between Lawson and Rainey. Mike Doohan comes home for third, but Wayne Rainey, the second Grand Prix of 1989 for him, stretches the lead in the championship. Eddie Lawson was second, Mike Doohan was third.
What a marvellous all-American battle that was. Wayne Rainey taking victory.